So the bed.
Oh, okay. Are we changing subjects?
So, I mean,
okay. I'm listening. I'm with you.
it's a party, it's a party, it's a party in the bed.
Do it again.
No, baby. That's...
No? Did I do it right? No. Okay.
No.
I tried.
I mean, I think sex is great. I think having a comfortable bed is a necessity. Intimacy can be so many different things.
Yeah.
That isn't necessarily sex.
Absolutely.
I think the bed is a comfortable place to share that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it took you maybe like 6 months to be okay with the idea of a Murphy bed being an option.
Yeah. I'm not against the Murphy bed.
You were against the Murphy bed.
No, but like as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an anti-Murphy bed person. I tried different versions of having it being a platform on the ground where it would make it a floor that you could walk on top of the bed.
Right, which I was against.
Yeah. Some feng shui shit or something. You can't have people walking on your bed.
You can't have people walking on your bed. A bed is supposed to be a place of cleanliness.
Obviously not walking on the actual bed.
People are walking on your bed.
Okay. We landed on this Murphy bed situation.
Which you're happy about now.
Which I am happy about now. Talking about the history of the Murphy bed, one of the things you were telling me was about the kind of social implications of having your bed be visible to guests.
It wasn't polite to bring someone home that you were trying to court. Mm-hmm. And basically the first thing that they see when you open up the front door is your bed. It sends really inappropriate signals, mm-hmm. particularly then. So a way to kind of get around that is to hide the bed. Mm-hmm. So the Murphy bed was sort of invented right around this idea is how do you still be able to have a multifunctional space and not give everything away all at once.
Right. So when you were telling me this, I was thinking about kind of the subconscious decisions that we were making around designing the bed and wanting it to be hidden. And I mean, we're not courting a third right now. Yeah. But there's still this there's something about the bed and this place and it being a sanctuary, being a place of intimacy that even when you have guests come over, even when the intentions aren't around courtship, you may want to reserve that for yourself.
Within the process of deciding to live in such a small space, there are sacrifices that you make, right? That you have to make. And so I think that the bed definitely isn't one that we decided to take a huge sacrifice on, mm-hmm. as in like it's a full-size bed and it's a real mattress. But it's also a place where you, if you think about how the amount of hours that you sleep, like you spend a lot of time in, so mm-hmm. it should be valued and a priority. And I think it's important to also value these things that are important to our function. I think the bed is also a place where you can start to reimagine, you know, your life or the things that you want. Or I think we have really amazing conversations in bed. Mm-hmm. It's really a place where you can dream of mm-hmm. your ideas, either like while you're sleeping or not. But I think that, you know, you kind of start your day mentally while you're still in bed, right? Where you're thinking through certain things, thoughts are going through your mind. Right. And so it is really sacred in that way.
The bed is also a really vulnerable place.
Mm-hmm.
That once you've made it here, you've kind of shed a lot of the performance of like moving throughout the day and being so task oriented and goal oriented, and you've retreated to this place where you've kind of peeled that off and you're much more vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a part of why we have great conversations here.
I mean, I think that can either be something that you can do by yourself or with another person.
I'm trying to think, how often do I cry somewhere other than in bed? This just made me think about like that kind of personal reflection of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's easier to cry in bed.
Word.
I don't have any data on that, but I'm sticking with my answer.
I mean, I laugh a lot in bed.
Yes, you do. So silly all the time.
When I was talking about naps, it reminded me of Black Power naps and how they were kind of talking about, the fact that we never really allow ourselves to rest, or society doesn't allow us to rest, right? So there's this constant sort of push or internal pressure or external pressure for you to constantly be working, feeding into the system. And the idea of rest is connected to laziness and being unproductive and not allowing yourself to achieve, and which is totally incorrect. None of us get the proper amount of rest that we're technically supposed to be getting,
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like sleep is not something that you can catch up on. Like once you've lost it, you lost it.
Yeah.
Which I've always found really fascinating, because it's like, damn, like I can't even sleep in for like 2 days or whatever, and then that would give me back some of my life. Like it's just gone,
To your point about this pressure to produce, this has now become a political place.
Right.
And the politics around not letting capitalism kind of drive how you organize your day, but also political when you think about gender and intimacy. And so kind of going back to this not being a place that we wanted to compromise on, I think speaks to all of those actions as well.
Yeah, and then I think thinking back, even like the fact that we were reading Audre Lorde's text, the use of the erotic, is it's like, what she's really talking about is being able to empower women to do the things that we naturally feel like doing, right? And not restraining ourselves from those desires and wants. These are actually our essential needs.
Yeah.
That have now been reduced to luxury. Yeah, but even thinking about the politics of it, it reminded me of this text that I read that was from Felix Gonzalez-Torres. It was somehow people's private situations were very much in the public, right? Where it's like their decision to be intimate, who they decided to be intimate with privately, was still a public matter. So thinking about the politics within private and public space. And there wasn't a way other than, hiding, but it was hard to kind of live in between those two spaces.
We've been talking about that kind of privacy in the context of sexual intimacy, but I think that I've never dreamed with someone. There's inherent privacy in what your imagination and your subconscious does in your dreams. I had never thought about that parallel between that activity of dreaming and the place that it happens in, both being private spaces.
Right. The ability to allow your mind to quote unquote wander or daydream. Yeah. I think it's so essential to like our health and our creativity.
Yeah, it's a place where you find possibility.
And I think that's also why she says, like, that women that are in tune with the erotic are seen as being dangerous, because there's a sense of empowerment that is attached to that, and acknowledgement, right? That once you've experienced it, you're aware of what you can do.
Right. The things that we think happen here, for...
Girl, you know what happens here.
Hey.
The things we think happen here.
Don't make me blush. My mom's gonna watch this.
The bed is an intimate space, but it's also a space you don't want to bring the outside dirt and garbage.
Damn, okay.
Like into like your sacred space.
Shout out to and him and his wife 4-hour-long cuddle sessions.
Yeah,
we have not reached their level.
Definitely not. Goals to achieve. I still haven't managed to figure out how you can spend 4 hours cuddling, but it is possible, apparently.
Yes, we've been told.
And I feel like we haven't really, reached that point of pleasure because we haven't even done 4 hours of cuddling.
Right. There's a level of ecstasy we have not
Definitely.
attained.
Yeah. Those are goals in life.
Got it.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk
we're
about
good.
you. Why?
We've been talking for an hour.